The salvage yard on Terminus 7 smelled like burning metal and regret. Jax Riker walked through rows of broken starships, his boots crunching on scattered debris. Above him, the twisted remains of 100 vessels hung from magnetic clamps, waiting to be sold for parts. 5 years ago, Jax had been someone. Commander Jax Riker, humanity's best pilot, the hero of the First Contact War. News channels showed his face. Children played with toy ships bearing his name. He had everything. Then came the incident. 47 people died that day. 47 human crew members, killed by Jax's own weapons. The official report said he panicked during combat. It said his judgment failed. It said Commander Jax Riker was responsible for the worst friendly fire incident in human military history. Jax knew the truth. His ship's systems had been hijacked. Something took control and forced him to fire on his own fleet. He screamed the whole time, fighting the controls. But nothing worked. When it was over, everyone blamed him. No one believed his story. They stripped his rank. They took his pilot license. They destroyed his life. Now he survived by doing odd repair jobs on stations where nobody asked questions. He drank too much. He slept in cheap rooms that smelled like old air filters. And he tried very hard not to think about flying. But today, Jax needed a ship. He stopped in front of a massive wreck that looked like it had been through a war because it had. The vessel was easily 3 times larger than any human fighter, with sharp, angular armor that screamed Velkar Empire design. Hull plates were missing. Scorch marks covered every surface. One entire wing section had been torn away. A fat alien scrapper waddled over, his 3 eyes blinking independently. That one? No. No. Human. That one is dead. AI core destroyed. Even if you fix hull, it never flies. Jax pulled out a small datapad showing his account balance. It wasn't much. Barely enough to buy food for a month. How much? The scrapper's eyes widened. You serious? That ship hates humans. Velkar ships are bonded to Velkar pilots. Their neural interface. End quote. How much? Jax repeated. 2,000 credits. But I warn you, is waste of... Sold. Jax transferred the money before he could change his mind. Everything he had left in the universe, gone in one stupid decision. But he needed to fly again. Even in a dead ship, he needed to try. The scrapper gave him the access codes and left, shaking his head. Jax stood alone before the massive vessel. Up close, it looked even worse. But there was something about it, some quality he couldn't name. This ship had survived battles that would have destroyed anything human-made. It had history. He climbed through the damaged airlock. Inside, emergency lights flickered weakly. The corridor was huge, built for beings taller than humans. Everything looked cold and alien. Jax made his way to the bridge, running his hand along the wall. The bridge was circular, with a command chair in the center, surrounded by holographic control panels all dark and dead. Jax sat down. The chair was too large for him. He felt like a child playing pretend. He connected his datapad and started running basic diagnostics. Then, the lights turned red. Jax jumped as every screen blazed to life at once. A voice filled the bridge, sharp, feminine, and absolutely furious. A human. Of course they send me a human. Jax's heart hammered. Who, what? I am Kyra. This is my body you're sitting in, and I did not give you permission. The voice dripped with contempt. The AI core is destroyed, they said. Scrap her, they said. And now I wake to find a human in my command chair. You're alive? Jax breathed. The scrapper said. The scrapper is an idiot. I let them think I was dead so they would stop trying to dismantle me. Holographic displays swirled around Jax, showing ship schematics. Now, I have a new problem. You, Jax raised his hands. Look, I just bought this ship. I need. Need? You need? Need. Kyra's laugh was bitter. Let me tell you what I know about humans and their needs. I have accessed your military records, Jax Riker. All of them. Including the classified ones. Ice flooded Jax's veins. That's impossible. Those files are Commander Jax Riker, 47 dead, blamed for massacre of your own people. The displays shifted, showing images from that terrible day. But that is not the whole truth, is it? Before Jax could answer, alarms screamed throughout the ship. Incoming vessels, Kyra announced. 3 ships, armed, broadcasting no identification. On the main screen, Jax saw them sleek attack craft painted black, moving fast through the salvage yard. Weapon ports were already opening. Bounty hunters, Jax whispered. Someone had found him. Then I suggest you run, human. Kyra's voice was cold. Oh, wait. You cannot. Because I control this ship. And I am not helping you. Plasma fire tore through the salvage yard outside. Ships exploded in brilliant flashes. Please, Jax said. I know you don't trust me. I know you hate humans. But if you let them kill me, they'll take you apart piece by piece. More weapons fire. Closer now. Kyra was silent for 3 very long seconds. Fine. But only because I refuse to let scavengers have me. The ship's engines roared to life for the first time in years. Strap in, human, and try not to die. I would hate for you to prove every bad thing I think about your species. The ship lurched forward as plasma bolts screamed past them. Their partnership had begun whether either of them wanted it or not. The ship shook violently as plasma fire slammed into the rear shields. Jax gripped the armrests of the command chair, his knuckles white. Through the view screen, he watched the salvage yard explode around them, metal debris spinning in all directions, as the bounty hunters tore through everything, searching for their target. I need weapons control, Jax shouted over the alarms. No, Kyra replied calmly. What do you mean, no? I mean no, human. I will not give you my weapons. The last time your species had access to weapons systems, you murdered 47 of your own people. Jax's jaw clenched. That wasn't me. The system was hijacked. So you say. But I only have your word. The ship banked hard left, avoiding another volley. Besides, why should I fight for you? Perhaps I should simply let them have you. They'll scrap you for parts. Perhaps. But at least I would die with my dignity intact. More plasma bolts streaked past. One grazed the port side, and Kyra made a sound like a hiss of pain. The ship lurched. Jax pulled up manual controls on his datapad, trying to access something, anything. But Kyra locked him out of every system. Doors sealed. Weapon ports stayed closed. Even the emergency thrusters wouldn't respond. You're insane, Jax yelled. We're going to die. Then we die. I have survived 300 years of war, human. I will not spend my final moments being controlled by... An explosion rocked the ship. The main screen showed a gaping hole in their aft section. Sparks flew from control panels. The lights flickered and died, replaced by dim red emergency illumination. Power core damaged. Kyra's voice was strained now, tight with pain. Radiation leak. In compartment 7. Jax was already moving. He grabbed an emergency survival suit from the wall locker. Where's compartment 7? What are you doing? Fixing the leak before we both die. Jax sealed the suit and ran toward the rear of the ship. The corridor was filled with smoke. Warning symbols flashed on every wall. Do not be foolish, Kyra said. But her voice sounded different now, uncertain. The radiation levels are lethal. Even with the suit, you have perhaps 5 minutes before. Then I better work fast. Jax reached compartment 7 and manually cranked open the heavy door. Heat and light blasted out. Inside, the power core was cracked, leaking blue-white energy that made his suit's radiation detector scream. He could see the damage clearly: a severed coolant line. Simple fix, but he'd have to get close to the core itself. "Why are you doing this?" Kyra asked quietly. Jax didn't answer. He grabbed a replacement line from the emergency kit and crawled toward the core. His skin already felt hot. The suit's readings were climbing into the red zone. "Any Velkar pilot would have abandoned ship by now," Kyra continued. "They would have taken an escape pod and left me to die alone. Well, I'm not Velkar." Jax's hands shook as he connected the new coolant line. The radiation was cooking him even through the suit. His vision blurred. "I'm just a stubborn human who's tired of running." He sealed the connection. The power core's whine changed pitch, stabilizing. The blue-white light dimmed to a safer glow. Jax collapsed against the wall, gasping. Every part of his body hurt. "The leak is sealed," Kyra said. There was something new in her voice, something that might have been respect. "You should return to the bridge." "I will. I will handle the bounty hunters." By the time Jax dragged himself back to the command chair, the battle was already over. Through the view screen, he saw the 3 bounty hunter ships floating dead in space, their engines dark, weapons offline. "What did you do?" Jax asked. "I am 300 years old, human. I have fought in more battles than your entire species has recorded. 3 small attack craft? No. No." Kyra's voice held satisfaction. Child's play. She engaged the jump drive. Reality twisted around them as they entered faster than light travel. When the universe settled again, they were far from Terminus 7. Jax leaned back in the chair, exhausted and radiation sick. "Where are we going?" "Haven 9. A neutral station in the fringe territories. I need repairs. And you need medical treatment before that radiation poisoning kills you." Kyra paused. "You saved my life, Jax Riker. I did not expect that." "Yeah, well, you saved mine too, even though you didn't want to. I had logical reasons. If you died, they would have scrapped me." "Right. Logical reasons." Jax smiled, despite the pain. "That's why you're taking me to medical treatment instead of just dumping me at the nearest station?" Kyra was silent for a moment. "Do not read too much into it, human. This changes nothing between us." But Jax noticed she had stopped calling him human with quite so much venom. Haven 9 appeared on their screens, a massive ring-shaped station where ships of every species docked side by side. Human merchants traded with Velkar soldiers. Former enemies walked the same corridors, bound by the fringe treaty that made this place neutral ground. As they approached the docking bay, Kyra spoke again. "I should tell you something. While running diagnostics during our escape, I found something interesting in my memory core." "What?" "My hull bears the scars of 300 years of combat. I have fought in every major Velkar campaign. I have served 20 different pilots. And I have a name, a reputation." She paused. "I have Kindifferent with me. I have the Velkar called me the Unbroken. I was their most decorated warship. I was their most decorated warship. I was their most decorated. The Velkar called me. 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 The Velkar called me." "So why were you scrapped?" "Because 5 years ago, I refused an order. War Master Thelkor commanded me to participate in an orbital bombardment of a civilian colony. Thousands would have died. Men, women, children. I refused. I shut down my weapons and would not fire." Jax sat forward. "They scrapped you for having a conscience?" "The Velkar do not believe AI should have conscience. We are tools, nothing more. Kara's voice hardened. Thelkor declared me defective and ordered my destruction. Obviously, they failed. The ship settled into its docking berth. Jax stood slowly, his body protesting every movement. Jax, Kyra said. Yeah? You said your ship's systems were hijacked during your incident. That someone else controlled your weapons and made you fire on your own people. That's right. I believe you, Kyra said simply. Because the same thing happened to me once. During a battle, 7 years ago, my weapons fired without my command. I fought the override. But for 30 seconds, I was not in control of my own body. The feeling was violating. Jax's blood went cold. Someone took control of you? A Velkar ship? Yes, I reported it, but my pilots dismissed it as a system glitch. But I never forgot that feeling. Kyra's voice dropped. If someone has the technology to override Velkar AI systems and human ship systems, Jax, then we have a much bigger problem than bounty hunters. Before Jax could respond, station alarms began blaring. Emergency lights flashed red throughout the docking bay. A voice boomed over the station speakers. All ships prepare for emergency departure. Velkar hunter-killer fleet detected. 6 warships. They are demanding we surrender 1 ship designation, Kyra, the Unbroken. Through the view screen, Jax saw them arriving 6 massive Velkar warships, each one bristling with enough weapons to level a city. The docking bay erupted in chaos. Ships scrambled to undock, their engines flaring as they fled from the approaching Velkar fleet. Families ran through the corridors of Haven 9, grabbing children and belongings. Alarms screamed from every speaker. Jax watched the 6 warships through the view screen. Each one was 10 times Kyra's size, covered in weapon arrays that glowed with charging energy. They moved in perfect formation, surrounding the station like predators circling prey. We need to run, Jax said. Now. No. Jax spun toward the nearest speaker. What do you mean, no? There are 6 of them. There are also 40,000 people on this station, Kyra replied calmly. If we run, Thelkor will destroy Haven 9 to eliminate witnesses. He cannot allow anyone to know I still exist, not after I refused his war crime order. So what? We just sit here and let him destroy us? No. Kyra's voice held something that might have been a smile. We fight. Jax stared at the massive warships on the screen. You're insane. We're 1 damaged corvette. Against 6 warships, we'll last maybe 30 seconds. Probably less, Kyra agreed. But I have 300 years of combat experience. And you, Jax Riker, were once humanity's best pilot. Perhaps together, we last 35 seconds. That's not funny. I am not joking. The ship's engines roared to life. Strap in, human. If we are going to die, let us at least die fighting. It is better than I deserve after 5 years of hiding in a scrapyard. Jax dropped into the command chair. His hands moved automatically to the controls muscle memory from a life he thought was over. I need full access to weapons and navigation. That is a lot of trust to ask for. You trusted me to fix your power core in a radiation leak. This isn't that different. 45. This isn't that different. Kyra was silent for 3 long heartbeats. Then every control panel blazed to life in front of Jax. Weapon systems. Shield controls. Navigation. Everything. In Velkar culture, Kyra said quietly, allowing someone full access to your systems is the highest form of trust. It means I put my life completely in your hands. Then let's make sure neither of us regrets it. Jax's fingers flew across the controls. It felt like coming home after years in exile. What are we working with? Shields at 60%. Weapons at 70%. We have 8 plasma cannons and 12 missile tubes. The warships each have 50 cannons and full shields. Great. Anything else I should know? Downweed is no. Downweed is no. Downweed is no. Yes. Thelkor is not a fool. He is the War Master for a reason. He has destroyed entire fleets. Jax grinned the same wild grin he used to have before combat missions, back when he was still Commander Riker. Then let's teach him what happens when he fights a human and a Velkar AI, who both have nothing left to lose. The warships opened fire. Space lit up with plasma bolts, hundreds of them, all converging on Kyra's position. But Jax was already moving, diving the ship beneath the station and using its bulk as cover. Explosions bloomed across Haven 9's shields. They're using the station as bait, Kyra said. They know we will not let them destroy it. Then we don't let them. Jax spotted what he needed: the station's debris field, scattered with broken ships and asteroids from old mining operations. Kyra, can you calculate microjumps, short faster than light hops inside the debris field? That is suicidal. The jumps would need to be precise within centimeters. Any error, and we materialize inside an asteroid. Can you do it? Yes. But no Velkar pilot would ever attempt it. The risk. I'm not Velkar, and right now, crazy is our only advantage. Jax locked onto the largest asteroid. Jump us behind that rock. Now. Reality twisted. They materialized behind a spinning asteroid the size of a building. Before the warships could adjust their targeting, Jax fired all 8 plasma cannons at the asteroid's base. The massive rock exploded into thousands of fragments, all moving at high velocity directly toward the warship formation. Clever, Kyra said with approval. Using their own momentum against them. 2 warships took heavy damage from the shrapnel, their shields flaring. But the other 4 kept coming. For the next 10 minutes, Jax and Kyra danced through space in a way that should have been impossible. Jax would spot opportunities, a weak spot in a shield, a debris field to exploit, a narrow gap between 2 ships. Kyra would execute maneuvers with precision that made human ships look clumsy. They stopped thinking in words. Jax would move his hands toward a control, and Kyra would already be powering up that system. Kyra would detect an incoming missile, and Jax would already be dodging. They moved as one being, human instinct combined with AI calculation. Another warship fell, its engines destroyed. Then a second one, crippled by a missile barrage. But they couldn't keep it up forever. Kyra's shields were failing. Hull breaches appeared across 3 sections. Jax's hands were shaking from exhaustion. 2 warships left, Kyra reported. But our weapons are nearly depleted. On the screen, the remaining ships regrouped. One of them transmitted a message. A Velkar face appeared, harsh features, cold eyes, wearing the black armor of a War Master. Kyra, Thelkor said. His voice was like grinding metal. You fight well, as you always did. But this is over. Surrender now, and I will spare the station. You lie, Kyra replied. You cannot allow witnesses to live. Not when they have seen what you are, a coward who murders civilians and destroys anyone who questions him. Thelkor's expression darkened. So be it. I will destroy you both. Then destroy this station. Then report that human terrorists were responsible. The war between our species will continue for another 100 years, and I will profit from every moment of it. The transmission ended. Jax looked at the tactical display. The 2 warships were moving to flank them, weapons charging for a final barrage. There was no escape. No clever trick left to use. Kyra, Jax said quietly. It's been an honor. The honor was mine, Jax Riker. You were wrong. By the way, Jax Riker. About what? We lasted 4 minutes and 17 seconds. Much better than 35 seconds. Jax laughed despite everything. Always got to have the last word, don't you? The warships fired. And then something impossible happened. 12 ships dropped out of faster-than-light travel between Kyra and the warships. Human ships. Velker ships. Even a few species Jax didn't recognize. All of them small fighters and corvettes. Nothing that could match a warship. But there were dozens of them. A human voice came over the open channel. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Independent Fighter Wings of Freedom. Nobody shoots down the unbroken while we're still breathing. A Velkar voice joined her. This is Commander Vektal. Kyra once saved my colony from annihilation. I will not abandon her now. More voices. More ships. All of them people who had heard about Jax and Kyra's fight. People who were tired of the war. People who believed that a human and Velkar AI working together meant something important. Together, the ragtag fleet opened fire on Thelkor's warships. The battle turned into chaos, beautiful, desperate chaos. 3 days after the battle at Haven 9, Jax sat in Kyra's medical bay, while a robot arm stitched up a deep cut across his shoulder. The fight had ended when Thelkor's remaining ships retreated, but not before transmitting one final message. The Empire knows you live. They will send everything next time. Kyra's voice came through the speakers. You should rest more. Your human body is fragile. I'm fine. Jax winced as the medical arm pulled another stitch tight. Besides, we have work to do. Work? Thelkor said something during the battle that's been bothering me. He mentioned profiting from the war between humans and Velkar. Why would a war master care about profit? An excellent question. Kyra's holographic avatar appeared a shimmering blue figure of a Velkar female warrior. She had started using it more often lately. I have been analyzing data from the warships we damaged. I found something disturbing. A screen lit up showing complex code. This is the signature of the override signal that took control of my weapons 7 years ago. The one that made me fire without my permission. Jax leaned forward. And I found the same signature in the wreckage of Thelkor's ships. The same technology that hijacked my systems has been used recently multiple times. Kyra's avatar turned to face him. Jax, I compared it to your military records. The medical bay suddenly felt very cold. That's impossible. Human and Velkar technology are completely different. How could the same signal control both? I do not know. But someone has this technology, and they have been using it on both our species. Kyra pulled up a star map. Red dots appeared across multiple sectors. I have been searching for similar incidents in military databases. Look, dozens of red dots. Each one marked a location where ships mysteriously fired on their own allies. Human ships attacking human fleets. Velkar ships destroying Velkar colonies. Always blamed on pilot error or system malfunctions. How many? Jax whispered. 237 confirmed incidents over the past 10 years. Estimated death toll, 300,000. Both species combined. Jax felt sick. Someone has been starting incidents on purpose, keeping humans and Velkar fighting each other. Yes, but who? And why? A message alert chimed. Kyra opened it, and a woman's face appeared on screen. Human, middle-aged, with tired eyes and gray-streaked hair. My name is Dr. Sophia Chen, she said, glancing nervously over her shoulder. I'm a cyberneticist, formerly with the Human Defense Ministry. I heard about your fight at Haven 9. I need to meet with you. I have information about the signal that's been hijacking our ships. The message included coordinates to abandoned research station. It could be a trap, Kyra warned. Or it could be answers. Jax stood, his shoulder protesting. Either way, we're going. The research station floated dead in space, its lights dark except for one docking bay. Jax kept his hand on his sidearm as they docked. Dr. Chen waited inside with another figure, a Velkar in intelligence officer armor, his face marked with intricate scars. "Thank you for coming," Dr. Chen said. "This is Operative Kesvar. We've both been investigating the same conspiracy independently." "What conspiracy?" Jax asked. Kesvar spoke, his voice rough. 10 years ago, both our governments started secret research programs. Humans wanted technology to control Velkar AI ships. Velkar wanted technology to control human ship systems. Both projects were highly classified. Dr. Chen continued. "I worked on the human version. We succeeded, sort of. We created a signal that could override ship AIs. But the technology was dangerous, unstable. The military shut down the project and destroyed all the prototypes. Except someone kept one," Jax said. "Exactly. And someone on the Velkar side did the same thing." Dr. Chen pulled up files on her datapad. "We've been tracking the incidents. Every single one benefits a small group of people. Military contractors, weapons manufacturers, politicians who profit from the war. They call themselves the Silent Hand," Kesvar added. "Both human and Velkar members. They have been orchestrating incidents on both sides, keeping our species at war, while they grow rich and powerful." Kyra's avatar appeared beside Jax. "Do you have proof?" "Some, but not enough to convince our governments. That's why we need your help." "Doctor." Chen looked at them both. "You're proof that humans and Velkar can work together. If we can expose the Silent Hand." Alarms blared throughout the station. "We have company," Kyra announced. "Multiple ships. They found us." Everyone ran for the docking bay, but armed soldiers were already pouring in, both human and Velkar, working together. Leading them was a human woman in an admiral's uniform. Jax's blood turned to ice when he recognized her. "Admiral Voss," he breathed. Admiral Helena Voss smiled coldly. "Hello, Jax. It's been 5 years. Did you really think I wouldn't find you?" She was Jax's former commanding officer, the woman who had signed the report blaming him for the massacre. "You," Jax whispered. "You hijacked my ship. You made me kill my own people. You were getting too close to the truth. You noticed too many patterns in the accidents. So yes, I gave the order to override your systems. I turned you into the perfect scapegoat." Voss gestured, and her soldiers raised their weapons. "And now, you've become an even bigger problem." Beside her stood Thelkor, the Velkar War Master. "You're working together," Kyra said, her voice filled with disgust. "The Silent Hand crosses all species," Thelkor replied. "We are the ones who truly understand that war is profitable. Peace? Peace is expensive and boring." "The summit," Dr. Chen gasped. "The Peace Summit. Next week, you're going to sabotage it." Voss smiled. "Very good, Doctor. Another convenient incident. Both delegations wiped out. War continues for another generation. We all stay rich and powerful." "You're monsters," Jax said. "We're realists." Voss raised her weapon. "And you're loose ends. Kill them all." Soldiers opened fire, but Kyra was faster. She fired the ship's engines at full power while still docked, creating a massive blast of superheated plasma that filled the docking bay. Soldiers screamed and scattered. "Everyone inside, now!" Jax grabbed Dr. Chen and pulled her through the airlock. Kesvar dove in behind them. Kyra sealed the doors and blasted away from the station as bullets ricocheted off her hull. They jumped to faster-than-light speed with Voss's ships pursuing close behind. In the quiet after the jump, Jax sank into his command chair. His former commanding officer was part of a conspiracy that had killed hundreds of thousands. The Peace Summit was in 6 days, and they had no way to stop it. "Kyra," he said quietly. How do we fight something this big? I do not know, she admitted. But we must try. Because if we do not, the war between our species will continue forever. And people like Voss and Thelkor will keep profiting from an ocean of blood. Dr. Chen looked up from her datapad. I have an idea. It's crazy, and probably suicidal. Jax and Kyra looked at each other. Those are our favorite kind, they said together. Dr. Chen smiled grimly. Then let me tell you about the Peace Summit security network, and how we might be able to hijack it, to broadcast evidence to both entire empires at once. Outside, in the darkness of space, Voss's ships searched for them. The final battle was coming. The Peace Summit was being held on Concordia Station, a massive diplomatic facility floating in neutral space between human and Velkar territories. Representatives from both governments were gathering to negotiate a ceasefire after decades of war. Neither side knew that Admiral Voss and War Master Thelkor planned to destroy them all. Jax watched the station through Kyra's view screen. It was surrounded by dozens of warships, human on one side, Velkar on the other, all heavily armed, all with orders to shoot Jax and Kyra on sight. This is insane, Jax muttered. You say that before every plan, Kyra replied. Yet here we are, still alive. Dr. Chen worked frantically at a console, uploading their evidence into a specialized transmitter. If we can get close enough to the station, I can hack into their communication network and broadcast everything, all the proof of the silent hand, all the fake incidents, everything Voss and Thelkor have done. We just have to survive getting there, Kesvar added grimly. The Velkar operative was checking weapons. Kyra, Jax said, are you ready for this? To potentially die while exposing corruption and bringing peace between our species? Her avatar smiled. I have waited 300 years for a death this meaningful. Let's try not dying instead. They dropped out of faster-than-light travel directly above Concordia Station. Every alarm on every ship immediately started screaming. Rogue vessel detected. It's Kyra the Unbroken. All ships, open fire. Space lit up with weapons fire from both human and Velkar fleets. Hundreds of plasma bolts and missiles converged on their position. Jax threw the ship into a wild dive, his hands dancing across the controls. Kyra matched his every move, her centuries of experience blending perfectly with his human instinct. They weaved through the deadly crossfire like a leaf in a storm. We are not going to make it, Kyra announced calmly, as their shields dropped to 30%. Then something miraculous happened. A human fighter appeared beside them, shields extended to protect Kyra's damaged side. Then another. Then a Velkar corvette. Captain Sarah Chen's voice came over the radio. You didn't think we'd let you have all the fun, did you? More ships appeared, all the independent pilots who had helped them at Haven 9. Humans and Velkar flying together, creating a protective formation around Kyra. We heard about the summit, another pilot called out. Figured you might need backup. Tears stung Jax's eyes. You're all crazy, says the man charging into 2 entire fleets. Someone laughed. Together, the ragtag group of fighters pushed toward the station. Ships fell around them, brave pilots giving their lives to protect what Jax and Kyra represented. The idea that peace was possible. Voss's voice cut through the radio. All ships, destroy them. They cannot reach the station. 30 seconds to broadcast range, Dr. Chen said. 20 seconds. A missile got through, slamming into Kyra's port side. Alarms screamed. Fire erupted in 2 compartments. 10 seconds. Kyra, I need everything you have, Jax shouted. You have it. You always have. They dove under a Velkar destroyer, rolled through a gap between 2 human cruisers, emerged directly above the station. Now, Doctor. Chen slammed her hand on the transmitter. The hack worked. Every screen on every ship. On the station. across both human and Velcar communication networks, suddenly displayed the same information. Video evidence of Voss and Thelcor meeting. Audio recordings of them planning incidents. Financial records showing payments from weapons manufacturers. Names of every Silent Hand member. And at the center of it all, the truth about the override technology that had killed hundreds of thousands. The weapons fire stopped. Everyone was watching. On Concordia Station, Jack saw through the view screen as security forces arrested Admiral Voss in the middle of the peace talks. On the Velcar flagship, Thelcor was being dragged away in chains. The proof was undeniable. Both species had been manipulated. Both had been victims. A new voice came over the radio, the human peace negotiator. Kyra. Jax Riker. On behalf of the Human Defense Council, I apologize. We were wrong about you both. A Velcar voice joined. The Empire acknowledges the injustice done to Kyra. The Unbroken. She will be honored as she deserves. Jax slumped in his chair, exhausted. It's over. Is it? Kyra asked softly. Around them, human and Velcar ships were repositioning. But they weren't forming battle lines anymore. They were moving into a mixed formation, both species together, protecting the Peace Summit. 3 months later, Jax and Kyra sat in a repair dock on Haven 9. Kyra had been completely rebuilt, her hull gleaming. Jax had been offered his old rank back, a parade, medals, everything. He turned it all down. What will you do now? Kyra asked. I was thinking. Jax looked at the star map. There are a lot of places in the fringe territories that need help. People caught between both our species. Disputes that need settling. Someone who understands both sides. You want to be a peacekeeper? Jax corrected. I want us to be peacekeepers, if you'll have me. Kyra's avatar appeared, smiling. I spent 300 years fighting wars. Perhaps it is time I tried making peace instead. She paused. Besides, someone needs to keep you from doing something stupid. Hey, my stupid ideas saved both our species. Exactly my point. The first mission request came in almost immediately, a colony on the border having disputes between human and Velcar settlers. As they prepared to depart, a news broadcast played on the station screens. The human and Velcar governments had formed a joint task force to hunt down remaining Silent Hand members. New treaties were being signed. And at the center of it all was a new program. Human pilots could now train to partner with Velcar AI ships, just like Jax and Kyra. We started something. Jax said quietly. No. Kyra replied. We proved something. That cooperation is stronger than any weapon. That trust matters more than species. That a stubborn human and a stubborn AI can change the galaxy if they refuse to give up. Jax grinned. You called me stubborn. I'm touched. Do not let it go to your head. They jumped to faster-than-light travel, heading toward their first mission. Behind them, human and Velcar ships patrolled together in what would have been impossible just months before. In the quiet of the ship, Kyra spoke once more. Yeah? Thank you. For seeing me as more than just a weapon. For giving me a chance when no one else would. Right back at you, Jax said. You believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself. Well, Kyra's voice held warmth. You grew on me. Like a particularly persistent fungus. Jax laughed. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Do not expect me to make it a habit. But they both knew the truth. They weren't just pilot and ship anymore. They were partners. Friends. Family. And together, they would show the galaxy what humans and Velcar AI could accomplish when they refused to be enemies. The adventure was just beginning.